Just saying. Just saying. Hey, today I want to talk about two different approaches to creative development of your idea. They are very different, but yet both very necessary. Hi, I'm Joe Scacciaferra, CEO and creator of Ferrocity. All right, let's just jump right in. I'm going to define these two creative mindsets as marketing creatives and practical creatives. A true marketing creative will research a market, identify either a need or create a need, then finds a way to fill that need. Seems pretty basic, seems pretty straightforward, right? Okay. On the other side, you have practical creatives. These folks have ideas and the ability to bring them to life. It could be a song, it could be a video, it could be a technical widget, anything that spawns from an idea. My question to you is, which is more valuable? Hold on. Before you answer that, let me tell you about when I first was exposed to these two groups. Now, they didn't have these names and they weren't laid out to me this way. And it also happened very early on in my career, so I didn't really have a big focus on how the world functioned. I just graduated college as an electrical engineer with a focus in digital hardware. One of my first interviews was with Bell Labs. Bell Labs, if you don't know who they are, they were an amazing, amazing company for, a full century, probably, just about. The labs were sick, like Disney Studio for tech heads. They had been the hub of some of the greatest inventions in the 20th century. I don't have time to go through all of that right now, but it's definitely worth your read. You'd be amazed at the amount of technology that came out of one place. Anyway, so I go to this interview not knowing anything about anything. The HR person sits me down and explains that the labs are broken into two different engineering divisions. One division was pure engineering and science. This group was allowed to come up with ideas about anything and just see where it ended up. They had full freedom to explore new ideas without worrying about its commercial use. Utopia. Now, the other group was the commercial group. They were responsible for developing technology and widgets that actually had a place in the market. This group was driven by the marketing guys. The guys who say, hey, there is a need for this widget in a huge market. Let's go after it. Like some phone that I don't have to pick up the receiver to talk, that I could kind of just push a button and sit back and have a conversation. Yeah, speakerphones. That was unheard of back in the early days of telephones. And I don't mean back in the Alexander Graham Bell early days. I'm talking 50s, 60s. You'd think that going through that experience, I'd have grasped the concept of practical ideas and marketing ideas. Nope, still didn't really get it. All right, so let's go back to my first question. Now that you know a little bit, which is more valuable? A marketing creative or a practical creative? Before you answer that, here's some more examples. Let's jump into the music and entertainment biz, which are littered with this concept. You got Berry Gordy, Motown. You got Clive Davis, Everytown. Clive Davis doing this for decades, package and produce dozens and dozens of the top acts in the industry. Whitney Houston. Brian Epstein with the Beatles, same thing. Took a small group, took a band that was just playing out, changed their image, kept going. You know what? Let me stop. I am not saying that these people didn't have phenomenal talent, that they would have reached heights that most of us couldn't attain, but nobody might have ever heard of them. That's the big difference. Now, if you jump out of the entertainment industry, the formula still remains the same. You got guys like Thomas Edison versus Tesla. You got guys like Walt Disney, phenomenal artist and animator, but he was a much better marketing creative because he had a lot of great animators around him. He was able to funnel their talent into a huge commercial need. And how about if we leap into the corporate world? Companies like 3M, Apple, Microsoft. All practice developing products based on market need, market opportunity, or creating a need. Steve Jobs was brilliant at the latter, creating a need. Why am I pressing market creatives as the cornerstone for practical creatives to be successful? Because they are. You need to embrace this concept if you want to have your best shot at seeing your idea come to life and sharing it with the world. So, unfortunately, by the time I understood this concept, I had already tanked chances of a career in playing and writing music. Growing up, all I wanted to do was write songs and play bass in a funk band. Yeah, I was a white guy, but I was actually pretty good. During those years, I cranked out a lot of good music. The bands I played in, we played original music, we played covers, we played in clubs and bars throughout the New York metro area. We eventually grew a nice following, which got the attention of a few A&R guys. Now, those first few A&R meetings were awesome. They told us how much they liked our stuff and our style, and oh my God, they just blew smoke up our butts constantly. But when the rubber hit the road, as they like to say, or everybody, I don't know who says that, things changed. They started tinkering with our songs, telling us it needed to be more approachable. You need to be more like this band, or you need to be more like that band. To me, that made no sense. We were different for a reason. We were going to set the pace. Then they started tweaking with our stage presence and our look. That's it. I had enough. We were the artist, not them. We knew what was good, not them, so I walked away. I showed them, right? No. None of my stuff has ever hit the charts. Meanwhile, the less talented guys in the band, or less talented in my opinion, are still getting mailbox money. So I ended up going back to school, got my engineering degree, and I killed it in the new digital music market as a tech and entrepreneur. Not a bad trade, but not what I really set out to do. The point I'm making is marketing guys are usually right when it comes to selling to the masses. Some of these guys, if they're good, they will know how to research and predict opportunities in the market. They will know how to package or repackage opportunities to fit in the new and changing markets, if they're good. Oh, and by the way, we are those opportunities. So you think I'd learned my lesson after all of that? Almost. In the 80s, I had this great idea of opening a high-tech custom engineering company focused on a new technology called synthesizers. I had it in my head that I was going to call all the shots and do what I wanted. And the majority of the time, I had good ideas and I could bring them to life. But my short-sightedness was a customer would walk in and say, I want this instrument to do this when I step on this pedal or turn this dial or smash on these buttons. And if I had a different idea, what do you think I did? Yeah, I told them. And maybe my idea was right, maybe my idea was wrong. I would just tell them, nah, you should do it this way. Well, that sounds stupid now, but then, fortunately, we were really good at what we did, and most of my arrogance was overlooked. Because we provided a really good product at a really decent service, I was given a lot of leeway. But I also was given a tremendous amount of advice from some of the really successful retailers and manufacturers about how I should market the company and allow it to really grow. At the time, maybe I adopted 5, I'll even give myself 10% of their advice. I still hadn't learned the concept of listening to ideas from people who focus on what the market needs rather than what I think is cool. Now, that's not to say the company wasn't successful. It was. And it still is, 27 years later. The point is that it might have been a monster if I knew then what I know now. So what does all this rambling mean? What's the take-home points? If you're a practical, creative idea person, awesome. Don't stop creating. But you need to balance that with the insights of solid marketing wizard. You know, at the end of a movie when the movie's based on actual events, something like this rambling that I just did, and they have those credits that give you the where are they now kind of statements. All right, let's pretend that that's what's going on right now. From the lessons learned in those early years, Joe Scacciaferra went on to build a successful broadcast production company, co-authored several books on the creative use of technology, and is now CEO and creator of an online education production company called Ferrocity. One of the first things Joe and the concept development team of Ferrocity did was bring in a high-end marketing executive, Lou Rosalia. With Lou's contributions, Ferrocity is quickly becoming a powerhouse in the entertainment production industry. Ferrocity's corporate teams are trained to develop and produce both high-quality products and experiences for their Ferrocity members, all under the guidance and direction of a strong and creative marketing team. Ha! That's it. I'm Joe Scacciaferra. Just saying. Ciao.